So with it, hey man, I had this conversation earlier this morning, but evidently my volume wasn't working. So had to take that thing down real quick, man. And it was a little fiery, but it might not have the same intensity, but you're gonna get the same message, man. We're gonna get straight to the point. I'm gonna summarize it, but I probably got a couple additional thoughts. So what I was speaking about this morning was CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Hoodlum was happening. Hopefully y'all can hear me this time. But CeeDee Lamb, Pickens. As I mentioned before, CeeDee Lamb is a number one wide receiver by talent, but a number two wide receiver by mentality. George Pickens believes he's a number one wide receiver by mentality, but he doesn't have number one wide receiver talent. I've said that on a few occasions this year. When we first got George Pickens, I was not high on him. I'm still not high on him. However, I understand the mentality difference. Has George Pickens had a good year this year? Yes, George Pickens has had a good year this year. Did George Pickens hold dear to Cowboy fans' hearts earlier this year and they want to sign him? Yes, he did. But guess what, Cowboy Nation? Right? Guess what? When George Pickens needed to show up the most, did George Pickens show up? No, he didn't. George Pickens should have used and abused the Detroit Lions secondary, but he did not. He did not. CeeDee Lamb was going crazy before he got hurt. CeeDee Lamb, who knows what CeeDee Lamb would have had at the end of the game. CeeDee Lamb was going crazy. Why? Because CeeDee Lamb got the talent to attack something like that. George Pickens don't. When George Pickens is when George Pickens is treated like a number one wide receiver, George Pickens won't do not a goddamn thing. I promise you. Why? How do we know this? We seen it in Pittsburgh. So what you think will be the difference in any other team, mommy? Like I said, the reason why George Pickens, as I've been saying, the reason why George Pickens has had success is because CeeDee Lamb was on the other side. And when CeeDee Lamb was not on the other side, George Pickens was going against barbecue chicken. Let's just keep it real. Did George Pickens have an excellent game against the Chiefs? Yes. Him and CeeDee Lamb had a very good performance against the Chiefs. It was just one of them games. But what happened, man, when the team was hungry just like you and was desperate just like you for a win? Did you show up? Hell no, you didn't. Like I said, man, I understand. See, look, I seen the little thing earlier in regards to George Pickens, his little IG. Look, I said this earlier. I seen that he had a safety over the top and he was bracketed it by the mic inside. I seen that. But you're not the only wide receiver that goes through that either, though. That's my thing. Guess what, George Pickens? Your effort on your routes, we've been calling it. I seen Jesse Holly made a little remark about, oh man, he been doing the same thing. Yeah, man, and we called it out the first week that he did it. His effort, that's poor effort, homie. Javante Williams will have a whole lot more rushing yards if your wide receivers block the goddamn. George Pickens don't block. CeeDee Lamb don't block. 31, 40 million? Absolutely not. What I was stating, I would not pay him 31 to 40 million. Hell no. He not worth it. I said this, right? This is the dilemma that Jerry Jones may have. What's coming out? So what's coming out in the draft? The past couple drafts here, and the wide receivers been kind of shaky. What's coming out in the draft? But can I find a wide receiver that gives the effort like George Pickens? Yes, I can. Can I find a wide receiver that has a talent, if not more than George Pickens? Yes, I can. But can I find a CD Lamb? Mm, it'll be a little harder. It'll be a little harder to find a CD Lamb talent than it would be George Pickens. If I'm looking at the draft, this is a perfect time to look at the draft. What do we got? Is there some talent? Can they ball? Is this somebody that can complement CD? Because like I said, it goes like this, Cowboy Nation. Okay, say for instance, you want to get rid of CD. George Pickens can't do it by himself. You got to bring somebody else on the other side of him that's similar to CD that can get separation. Okay, so you say George Pickens. No, we don't want you back. Okay, you have to bring somebody else on the other side of CD. So yes, they've been kind of feeding off each other. George Pickens has been having success because of CD Lamb. CD Lamb has been a little bit more freer. Why? Because George Pickens on the other side. So they to a certain extent this year they needed each other. George Pickens, I don't care what nobody say. George Pickens needed CD Lamb. If George Pickens get paid, whether it be from Dallas or anybody else, it's because of CD Lamb. And it's because of Dak Prescott. Because Dak Prescott trusted him to just keep targeting him, to keep throwing at him. And you know, these weak ass defenses and these weak ass corners, they'll give up the same thing over and over again. But when you win, where was he at against Denver? Where was he at against Detroit? And he should have cooked Detroit. His comeback route, trash. A slant route. He jogging, allowing the defender to damn near get a pick. That route that he was going up deep. I seen what's his name? Jeff Kavanaugh making excuses for that boy. No, 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 no. I don't know what the hell he was saying, but it sounded hella stupid. No, that was horrible effort. Has George Pickens done this before? Yes. Has CeeDee Lamb come up big in big games? He ain't came up in big games either. He ain't came up in big games either. And Pickens haven't either. So it's like you in the same boat. But do you allocate resources? Do you pay what? Damn near what, 80 mil, 70, 80 mil in a wide receiver room for them two? I don't think you do. I don't think you should. Franchise tag them, trade them. Because you know George Pickens gonna act a goddamn fool when he get paid. You know he is. You know he is. You know, like I said, George Pickens has had an excellent season. Yes, he has. We are not going to take that away from him. His best season in his NFL career. But George Pickens is who George Pickens is. I don't like the attitude that he had. I don't like the effort that he had in the big time game where his team needed him the most. And he gave that pissy ass effort. That's ridiculous. That's not gonna win you no championship. The Dallas Cowboys are trying to win a championship, am I right? So you need players that's gonna give effort. Did you see Amon St. Brown give effort? He allegedly had an ankle injury. What was he doing out there? Did you see Jamison Williams had that effort? Oh, okay. I was just trying to make sure because I could have swore Jamison Williamson last week when Amaron got hurt stepped up big. I could have swore he did that on Thanksgiving, wasn't it? Oh, okay. But what about Pickens when CeeDee Lamb got hurt? Did he step up big? You telling me that they wasn't sitting over there putting more attention to Jamison Williams when Amaron got hurt? If the Cowboys had St. Brown and Jameson, the Cowboys will at least have eight wins. At least. If they had Addison and Jefferson, they will at least have eight wins. If they had Chase and Higgins, they will at least have 8 wins. Higgins step up when Chase is gone. See, somebody like Higgins will be perfect for the Dallas Cowboys on alongside of CD. Like I said, like, you know, yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. That I don't care attitude could be beneficial and it can hurt you. Yeah, I do like his confidence. I like his confidence. I do. That's what something the CD needs. I agree. I like that. I like a fiery individual, but that effort when you need it though, nah, that's not gonna get it done, homie. That's not gonna get it done. That is not gonna get it done. That effort on that comeback route, that's not gonna get it done. So Cowboy Nation, you have to really ask yourself, because to be honest with you, you can't pay top dollar for both. Like the way you want to build your team, you can't pay top dollar for both. You're gonna have to probably most likely rework that Quentin Williams contract, right? You're gonna have to get rid of that Osa contract. You damn near gonna have to get rid of that Bland contract. Mm. Damn near, huh? Yep, Diggs contract. The Dallas Cowboys, like I had made this statement. I know y'all couldn't hear me earlier, but somebody like Javon Baker that was drafted by the Patriots, I think he with the Eagles right now. I think in this scenario, I think he'll do solid. I think he'll do solid. And if the Eagles keep him and put him in there next to Devontae Smith, I think he gonna do very good. There's so it's like this. Jerry, I think Jerry needs to go ahead and go get him. So it's like this. Either you find you a T. Higgins type as far as production wise in the draft, or you gotta find somebody who already doing it. You gotta go find you gonna have to call Minnesota. Hey, what you want for Addison? Because Addison would be perfect next to CD. Addison would be perfect next to CD. Jameson, that'd be a nice addition next to CD. With the speed, even though Dak don't know how to give it to them type of boys. See the type of see that now. One thing about what Jerry Jones got for the team, right? With Pickens, there's these two possession wide receivers. That's the type of wide receivers Dak need. Two possession wide receivers and somebody to work the short area, like Cole Beasley. So he gonna need that in that slot in our reality. And then you really cooking. Like a Josh Downs from the Colts, perfect in a slot next to a position. So in our reality, with the money wise, you probably should just go ahead and just either draft or go get you somebody like Addison. Addison is not going to cost 40 mil. I know he want to get up out of there. He got weak ass JJ McCarthy up over there. I told y'all he was weak. You tell me Addison would want to come over here? Hell yeah. You know when he came out, he was my number one. And one thing about Addison, I've seen it with my own eyes. When Jefferson misses, he steps up. When Jefferson misses, he steps up. That's why Jerry be scared to pay players. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. For sure. Jerry shouldn't do this one. I know you done gave up resources, Jerry, but you shouldn't give this one. You shouldn't give this one. That's 40 mil. You know he gonna want that 30, 40, or whatever the number was. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't give it to him. I couldn't give him the 40, 30, 35, or whatever he want. Let somebody like Carolina give it to him. Let the Carolina Panthers give it to him. Send his ass to Carolina. Go get JC Horn or something. Don't Carolina got a no, they ain't got no linebacker like that. I think they got a safety though. Go get a corner and safety from Carolina. Go send Pickens up over there. He'll be the number one. He'll get all the targets. Ship him over there. Ship him to one of them weak ass teams where he can go ahead and get his 10, 12 targets a game. That's what he want. He want to get paid and he want to be treated like the number one. Pickens don't care about winning. Because if Pickens cared about winning, Pickens would have gave better effort. You see, even in the TV copy, I could see that at times he was bracketed, that he had a safety over the top. I could see it, but at the same time, I can also see the way that your effort. I've seen Pickens fire off the ball. So all this Caden shit that Jesse Holly and them want to run his mouth about, hey homie, we seen Pickens fire off the ball before. So we ain't trying to hear none of that, homie. See, I can't respect nobody who don't want to keep it real because they don't want to hurt no feelings, but then want to sit over there and talk about everybody else and their viewpoints and their analysis on these players, though. But you can't keep it real because you want an interview or something. I can't respect that shit, man. Call it how you see it. If you're gonna talk about it, call it how you see it. Whether they disagree or agree, call it how you see it. What the got us? Boy, y'all awkward, ain't y'all? This nigga said, "Shut up." Man, that boy tripping. But facts, facts. Like I said, like, and we not even blaming Dak because I don't even think Dak was the issue yesterday. Even though Dak had some throws, some questionable throws, I don't think he was the issue. He ain't the reason why you lost. He put up 30 points. He didn't. You didn't even give him an opportunity to maybe try to tie it up. Defense couldn't stop a lick. But Pickens ain't do him no favors either, though, homie. So he had to throw it to what's his name, Flournoy. He got to rely on J Hop. Pickens, you wouldn't bracket it the whole. You wouldn't bracket it the whole time though. CD was out though. It ain't like you was going off when CD was in the game. CD was. CD had 100 and something before he left. CD was treating barbecue chicken like what you supposed to do with barbecue chicken. Eat, but you half-assing things. You jogging, you not effort. You don't want to block on the run. Even when you a decoy, even when it's time for you to sell the pet, bro. We know. Like I also said this earlier. I'm glad I remember now. I know when Pickens and CD is going to get the ball, and I know when they're not going to get the ball in the film. I know when it's a potential run player because I can just look at the way that George Pickens fire off the ball. He is disinterested when it comes down to blocking in the run game. You could tell, like, oh, okay, yeah, this gonna be a run game. He ain't getting the ball. How do you know? Look at his effort. Oh, he'll put a little more effort into his route. Oh yeah, George Pickens, he's probably one of the first reads on this one. He probably read number one. Dak Prescott for sure looking at him. He probably told him, hey, I'm looking at you first, George. 34. Hell yeah, 34 hell a week. I'm gonna give him a couple more games, before I stamp it officially. You know how that go. But in my eyes, from what I seen in that college tape versus what I'm seeing now, 34 hella weak. Jordan is, yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure that would have been a good little battle with him and St. Brown. That would have been a good little battle. But yeah, that's you know, Like I said, like we all on the same page in regards to the mentality wise, right? But I never believed that he had number one talent. And if you're gonna get somebody 40 billion, don't you think he should have some type of number one talent? You know who else I'll take up over here? Devontae Smith. That would be a nice addition to the Dallas Cowboys because he gets a nice little blend of not only going up top, but he can work the intermediate as well. So wide receivers like that, I'd have named a handful. DJ Moore. DJ Moore, I would bring him over from Chicago. I know he still got a couple years left. DJ Moore. There's wide receivers out there, man. Shit, Kayshawn Butte. Uh, what's up with Calvin Ridley? Him being in the number two role, you know? There's wide receivers out there for cheaper that'll give more effort and that'll give you solid production. They may not give you 14, 1500 on a year, but they'll definitely could can get you 1,000, can show up, can definitely be able to take the load if CD ever had to miss time. CD got that concussion. Who's to say that he don't miss this game coming up? Don't we got the Vikings if I ain't mistaken? Who's to say he don't miss this game because of the concussion? And then what Pickens gonna do in this game? Is he gonna go off for what you gave for him and for what you potentially might pay him? That'll be a mistake. That'll just be a mistake. But like I said, it's for some reason. Let's give a scenario that Jerry wanted to keep Pickens. You would have to get rid of CD and go find you somebody on the other side. You know, Jerry, like, hey, is the draft? Am I gonna get a bum in the draft? Can I go get somebody else? Do I know how to go look for somebody else? I mean, because I did give a fourth or fifth round pick for Mingo. I did draft Tolbert. you know, Flournoy is showing me a little promise to be a complimentary wide receiver, but my draft record ain't been so good other than CD. But CD was easy because he fell in my lap. I took a chance on Pickens, even though the tape said that you shouldn't have took a chance on Pickens. If you was gonna trade, I would have gave up some capital to go get Addison. I would have go gave up some capital to see if I can go get Higgins. At least I know what I'm gonna get for them players. I know what I'm gonna get from Pickens, and it's not good. This is just, to be honest with you, like I said, from the running game to CD to him having a better quarterback has all factored into what he has got this year. If it's just 47 attempts, remember Dak threw the ball damn near 50 times. What did George Pickens get? What was it, like 4 catches or something like that? 30 yards or something like that? When we had to abandon the run game some and throw it, what'd he do? Have I seen him not show up in big games before? Yes, I have. And I'm not even talking about from the Dallas Cowboys point of view. I'm talking about from Pittsburgh. And he did the same thing. So you have a tendency to not show up in big games. Like your boy, 88. He don't show up in big games either. So look at the mentality that we got. We got one wide receiver. He hella soft. He ain't got that dog in him. He just want to be cute. You got another wide receiver. He really fragile on the head, but he do believe in himself and he's confident. He a firecracker, but he also not a dog either. Why? Because of his effort, because of his mentality and his approach to his craft and to winning. He'll throw a punch before he'll run around full speed. He'll throw a punch before he runs a route full speed. I like it. I mean, like, I'll be honest with you. I don't even have a problem with what he said against to Richard Sherman today. Even though you gonna get criticized, you gonna have to take that. You can't be no punk. But I don't have a problem with what he said to Richard Sherman. But the criticism that you received today, you deserved it. So you can't get mad, get glad. The, Jerry Jones is not in a hard decision. He just got to make the best decision. It's either you go grab a number two or you draft your number two. Whoever you consider who your number one is. But we all know from the eye test from the film that number one is your most talented. Number 88, I mean, is your most talented wide receiver. If you put Pickens' mentality, like that firecracker approach, the confident, well, I ain't gonna say mentality because he ain't got the right mentality either. If you give CD Pickens confidence, the Dallas Cowboys got a dog. If you give Pickens CD's talent, Pickens will still be a firecracker, but Pickens have probably damn near had 1,800 yards right now. You get the confidence that CD got, that Pickens got. CD probably damn near got 2,000. You see how that go? You see how the mentality and talent, you know, how it needs to mirror. Like look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan gonna get effort. Michael Jordan gonna get that effort. The Dallas Cowboys need to bring in guys that give effort. They need to bring in guys that give effort. They need to bring in guys in who want to win. Jerry Jones has started that process this year by two very good off-season, no, all what'd you say? Off-season slash mid-season acquisitions with Quentin and Kenny. But you're gonna have to draft like that. And that's what Jerry and them missing. You gotta draft like that. But maybe it's too soon. But I was gonna say something about 94's mentality. But I guess I'll hold off on it. I guess maybe it might be too soon. But I think y'all kind of figure out where I was gonna go with that. But I'll hold off on that right now. But you just see the correlation. You just see the consistency and the mentality that Jerry Jones keep drafting. He's not drafting players who are dogs. He is not drafting players who have the desire to win, who are competitive. You look at Philly. Saquon want to win. Smith want to win. The Georgia boys want to win. Nolan Smith want to win. Graham keep coming out of retirement. You got players around them that they bring in with the right mentality. So whether people feel like Jalen Hurts is being carried or not, they still win. The Dallas Cowboys need to go ahead and make the moves to get players that got the mentality that's about winning. And Pickens is not about winning. Pickens is about himself. Pickens want what he want. You can't win like that. CD selfish too. CD was letting the noise get to him, doing all that crying. Why? Because Pickens was outshining him for a few weeks. If you was confident in yourself and confident in what you do, you shouldn't be no hater. You should be like, yeah, Pickens doing his though, but I know when it's time for mine, I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna get that. I know I'm him, but right now Pickens eating. I'm proud of my boy. No, what does CD do? Let the ball hit his hands, and he want to go ahead and do all this, have a meltdown because the ball hit him in his hands because he letting that outside noise get to him. We got a whole bunch of weak ass, like they mentality is hella weak. It's weak. It's weak. They gonna have to do something about that. They're gonna have to do something about that. Pickens is a possibility that, man, you might be rolling again by yourself, depending on what that concussion looking like. You probably gonna be rolling by yourself again. Is you gonna put up that same effort against the Vikings, homie? The Dallas Cowboys got to win out, and they put in a lot of resources to that wide receiver room. Picks, high draft pick, Tolbert, Mingo, Flournoy. They invested resources. It's time to get an ROI. And then you pay Ferguson. Is Ferguson really worth that contract? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't think he's really built off of the couple years ago. Ferguson is getting some love because of the wide receivers on the outside and the running game, but he should be making more plays than what he's doing. And he's hurt you. Sloppy, ball security, sloppy on all of them, including Pickens. Is sloppy too. Even though CD Lamb got hurt on that last play, you can see why Dak Prescott don't trust him in them situations. Des Bryant and knocked that down. And I'm pretty sure Pickens will probably would have finished that catch. But you don't. If you finish the catch, you might land differently. And we ain't talking about the concussion. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come through, man, give a little summer, man, because I know the live was messing up though, but I know this one ain't messing up. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, man. I'm pretty sure that as the week go along, we're gonna elaborate on this some more and look at the film, and maybe I'm gonna have to do a look at that Pickens, man, to see his effort and see what he was on. We seen what CD was on a few weeks ago and some of that effort that he was giving, right? We called that out too. We called CD out. We called Pickens out though. We highlighted CD on multiple occasions. Might be time we highlight George Pickens. It might be time to show since these cowboy content creators want to kiss his ass so much. It might be time to go ahead and highlight this. And let's see. Let's see that man that's supposed to be worth 40 million. Let's see that effort. Let's see what he got. Let's see that tempo that Jesse Holly likes that wanted to say in regards to this is how he run. No, 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 no. Just because he been running it the whole year doesn't mean it's acceptable. See, that's where you fucked up at Jesse. Just because he maybe ran like that in the majority of his routes doesn't mean that doesn't make it acceptable. You're basically saying because he ran like that this whole year, this how I'm taking it, that's acceptable. So when he started out in Philly and him and 88 was jogging on routes, not giving effort, so that was acceptable too because they've been doing this since for a long time, right? Hell no, it ain't acceptable. And Dallas Cowboy Nation, you shouldn't even accept nothing like that. You should always demand better because in all reality, these players should be giving you better, and they're not. In our reality, the Dallas Cowboys should have ran the table. They should have beat Detroit. They should have beat Minnesota, the Chargers, the Giants, the Redskins. They should be banging on all of them. They should have ran the table. But the true Cowboys will always show up when it matters the most. And that's coming up empty handed. But anyway, man, I'm gone, man. I'll talk to y'all later.